Kender du det? Du foretrækker at ses online. Kan det have noget at gøre med tiden, du bruger foran en skærm? Velkommen til videoserien Hjernen i balance. Den her videoserie er lavet med støtte fra Lundbæk-fonden. Mit navn er Maria Jaris, og i den her serie har jeg allieret mig med neuroforsker Macarena. Vi skal teste påstandene og finde ud af, hvorfor vores digitale vaner kan være skadelige for hjernen.
We know that too much screen time affects our brains negatively. But how much and what kind of screen time is actually dangerous? And how can we change our digital habits?
Vi vil i hvert afsnit komme med videnskabeligt baseret forslag til, hvordan du kan ændre dine digitale vaner og beskytte dit mentale helbred.
We are going to make 5 episodes in this ongoing series, and we are very excited to see what we will discover. And we invite you to participate.
Så har du et spørgsmål til os, eller vil du dele din mening, så skriv endelig til os i kommentarfeltet. Lad os undersøge det sammen.
In this third episode, we will try to answer the question, how does too much screen time affect our ability to socialize with others?
Macarena, as a neuroscientist, can you explain how our brain handles socializing?
When we talk about social life, we often think it's just about personality. But in the brain, socializing is a system. The social brain helps us read others, feel belonging, and understand where we fit in. A key part of this system is the brain's reward network. It reacts strongly to social signals such as acceptance, attention, and approval. During adolescence, this system is especially sensitive, since the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain that helps regulating impulses and put things into perspective, is still developing. Social feedback can feel very powerful. Screens take time from real-life interactions, but bring new ways of socializing like FaceTiming, social gaming, and online meetings. However, screens change how this brain system is stimulated. Likes, views, and notifications turn social interactions into constant signals. The brain starts treating visibility and these social media reactions as indicators of social value.
Så det Macarena fortæller er, at social interaktion styres af et biologisk system i hjernen, der lærer os at læse andre og føle et tilhørsforhold, men hvor belønningsnetværket også reagerer kraftigt på social feedback, såsom accept og opmærksomhed. I ungdomsårene er det her system særligt følsomt, da den præfrontale cortex, som hjælper med at styre impulser, stadigvæk er under udvikling. Sociale medier ændrer denne stimulation ved at omdanne social kontakt til konstante signaler som likes og visninger, hvilket hjernen begynder at tolke som et direkte mål for social værdi. Dermed tilpasser de unge sociale hjerner en verden, hvor social feedback altid er til stede og offentligt synlig. Og ikke kun når vi socialiserer i virkeligheden, ansigt til ansigt.
To get a better and deeper explanation, we talk with some expert neuroscientists in this field.
Vi er ved Aarhus Universitetshospital, og vi skal til at interviewe Dan Bang. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Dan Bang and I'm a neuroscientist at Aarhus University and Aarhus University Hospital. And I study how the brain enables all the fantastic things humans can do, like learn, plan, and also study how it goes wrong in psychiatric patients and in people with different kinds of brain disorder.
What are the main areas that are involved in our socializing and the brain?
So I think there are sort of 2 different kinds of area involved. There are some areas that we share with a lot of other animals for socializing or for aggression, and then there are other areas that are perhaps more unique to humans, which allow us to do many of the more sophisticated things we do. So you have this division between sort of these older brain areas that sort of lie deeper in the brain, and the more what we call cortical areas that are closer to the surface of the brain, and they're quite distinct in humans, and in particular those areas in the front of the brain, the frontal cortex. That social interaction is perhaps the most difficult problem that the brain faces. It's very hard to figure out why someone is smiling. Do they want something? Do they have bad intentions? Or do they actually like me? And so forth. And other people are very unpredictable. So we need to use a lot of brain power to figure out what are they going to do next? How are they going to respond to what I say? So I think it just so happens that our social life has taken over a lot of our brain areas, and we use our full computational power when we do social things. But we use a lot of the similar areas to when we solve smaller, simpler problems that are not social.
Many of my followers, when they are online or on social media, they feel like they are socializing. What's the difference between sitting face to face in real life or just maybe being on a video chat on Discord?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a difficult topic because we bring in a lot of prejudice, sort of beliefs which we have about what is right and what is wrong. But I definitely think it's important not to underestimate the power of social media for socializing. So rather than thinking that, oh, it's bad, it's perhaps informative to think about some of the things we do get when we are face-to-face interacting. And of course, when we are face-to-face, there are many more cues I get from you than when I just see you on a screen, because you're reacting to me and I'm reacting to you. Sure. And also when we do studies where, for example, we record brain activity, when we have people interacting, we can also see that there's much more synchronization, not just in how we move and position ourselves in a chair, but also how our brains operate.
Okay.
So rather than saying that, oh, online interaction is bad, focus on some of the extra things we get when we are together physically.
That's interesting to know. When we play games or we're on FaceTime with our friends, when I, for example, laugh or I maybe tell a joke, can the brain distinguish between a real laugh or a digital one?
Yeah, so the brain can tell the difference between a real laugh and a fake laugh.
Okay.
But if it's a real laugh, if it's online or in person, I will still respond to it. Yeah. I might respond differently when we are present and interacting. But I think what's more important is that it's a real or a genuine laughter than a fake one.
So wouldn't you say maybe that it's still socializing in that term?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Given what we know about the developing brain, is it fair to expect that young people can regulate on their own social environments?
From a science perspective, you would expect it to be more difficult for younger people, because what is perhaps surprising is that the brain reaches its adult size when you're like 9-10 years old, but we don't think of 9-10-year-olds as adults. No. So what really happens is that there's a lot of processes going on in there that are sort of taking you to that adult state, and that's learning and experience and getting the right connections between different brain areas. So I think what's quite apparent is that at that age you have a lot of feelings, but you don't have the same cognitive machinery for sort of controlling those feelings or life experience to saying, oh, actually it wasn't that bad. So I think you are at an age where maybe you do need some help, or you need to yourself have some rules of thumb to try to regulate yourself. But we all find that difficult, not just young people. Yeah. If you are much more aware, now you perhaps have the opposite problem. If I think about my parents, then maybe they assign too much meaning to things that they see online, or what someone did or didn't do, or someone who liked it or didn't like it. Whereas if you're young, you're maybe much more used to navigating that world, for sure.
What happens in a teenager brain when the social interaction is reduced to likes, comments and views, how that can change the social perception?
I mean, first of all, teenage years are an age of vulnerability, like mental health, biologically lots is changing. But I think the biggest challenge when you live a lot of your life online is that the feedback you get is very ambiguous. You don't know why someone liked it or why someone disliked it, and you don't know their intention for making a particular comment. So I think that young people face a huge challenge in figuring out why the things that they see, what someone intended with that. Whereas I think in real life interaction, it's perhaps easier, or you can ask someone to explain what they meant, or why did you have that facial expression when I said what I said, but you can't do that online, you can't get that explanation.
What do you think are good things that actually, through socializing, prevent young people to develop some of like anxiety, depression, or like mental health issues?
A lot of mental health issues can be related to how I feel in school. Yeah. And I can't change my classmates, but I can find new communities online, or I can find other people I connect with. In particular, if I'm different, I could be different for many different reasons, then I might not have anyone in my class or even in my school I can connect with. So I think in that way you can get a lot socially. Of course, it also opens up for new ways to feel excluded. Yeah. Like when I was young and someone was having a party and I wasn't invited, I didn't know it was happening. So I didn't have the chance to feel sad about it. But now I would know. Yeah. And I could feel excluded.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
But there's nothing unnatural about that. So again, it's not like social media's fault, it's more.
Like after school, I didn't have any friends. I was often bullied. Yeah. So I would just go home and play games and socialize with other people that was like me. I had some friends, online friends. Yeah. So I'm glad you said it's not only bad, it can also be a good thing.
It opens up for other rooms and spaces, and if you are different, whether it's sexuality and so forth, you can find people who are more like you, and I think that's quite important to know that you're not alone.
So I want to ask you, how important is it for young teenagers and young adults to meet often in real life rather than just be online and game and FaceTime or stream?
I mean, I would say it is important, but it's also important to go for a run and eat healthily and so forth. Perhaps sometimes when things are very fast-paced, what will happen if you are together, not on your phones, then things will slow down a little bit, and that might be important. I also think that being together with one or more people, it also simplifies things because there are not so many other people present. So I could also definitely imagine that it makes it easier to build secure bonds with others. You should think about, is that something I miss? Do I miss being together with other people in that way? And if you do miss it, try to see what you can do to make it happen. Maybe you all need to put your phones away when you do meet.
Yeah. I hear that the older generation, they fear that we are disconnecting more than we are connecting, but are we disconnecting or are we connecting with each other, even if it's online?
I mean, I think we've always had a fear of change. So if you go back to times when we started writing, then people were worried that memory would suffer. We would have bad memories because we no longer had to remember things. Or when we talk about social media, everyone is looking at their phone, but then if you see photos of 60 years ago, everyone is sitting with a newspaper. So I think it's important not to be afraid of that change. And I also agree with you that it opens up a lot of opportunities for socializing where we otherwise wouldn't have done it. Like if we are far away, or if your family is spread around the world, suddenly you can have a much closer bond to them than just sending a postcard.
So just to sum it up, we can't blame social media or technology mainly for our bad social skills.
No, I don't think so. Of course, that it opens up new problems we need to be aware of, social media technology. But I also think it's an easy way out for politicians, for parents. It's something to point the finger at when things are not going well. Because you also need to consider there are also wider changes in society, much more pressure in school, what you're meant to achieve in life and so forth. So it's something to point, it's the social media that makes people feel bad, but it could also be a distraction from a very pressurized life.
Så det vi kan opsummere er, at digital socialisering i høj grad også er virkelig socialisering, men hjernen får langt flere signaler, når vi mødes fysisk. Her synkroniseres vores hjerner og kropssprog, hvilket gør det lettere at afkode hinandens intentioner, end gennem de ofte tvetydige likes online. Social interaktion er en af hjernens allersværste opgaver, og for teenager er det ekstra udfordrende, fordi evnen til at regulere følelser først færdigudvikles sent i ungdommen. Selvom online-verdener kan føre til følelsen af udelukkelse, fungerer de også som en vigtig livlinje, hvor man kan finde fællesskaber med ligesindede, men ellers ikke vil møde. Vi skal derfor passe på med kun at give teknologien skylden for unges mistrivsel, da faktorer som pres i skolen og samfundets forventninger spiller en lige så stor rolle. Det handler om at finde en balance og mærke efter, hvornår det fysiske møde er nødvendigt for at opbygge trygge bånd til hinanden.
So what can we do to protect our mental health and our ability to learn and remember? Here are some good hacks.
Prioriter det fysiske. Da hjernen og kropssproget synkroniseres, når vi er fysisk sammen, får man langt flere sociale cues, altså signaler, end gennem en skærm. Brug dine digitale venner som livlinje og et frirum, men vær stadig bevidst om, at de dybeste og mest sikre bånd ofte kræver, at man også prioriterer at være sammen uden for skærmen. Undgå fænomenet fobbing. At ignorere andre til fordel for mobilen. Det kan være helt fint at være på mobilen, når du er alene, men når du er i en samtale med en gruppe mennesker, er det forstyrrende og i øvrigt også uhøfligt at tage mobilen frem. Drop notifikationer. Undgå både lyd og notifikationer, så du selv skal gå ind i appen for at tjekke, om der er kommet noget nyt. Dermed får mobilen mindre kontrol over din opmærksomhed. Vær kritisk over for digital feedback. Online feedback som likes og kommentarer er ofte tvetydige, og man kender ikke afsenderens reelle hensigt. Et hack er at minde sig selv om, at man ikke kan afkode intentionen bag et like, og at det altid er bedre at spørge direkte eller observere ansigtsudtryk i virkeligheden for at undgå misforståelser. Vi håber med den her serie, at vi kan åbne jeres øjne for, hvor fantastisk neuroforskning er, når vi gerne vil forstå sammenhængen mellem vores digitale vaner og vores mentale helbred.
Let us know in the comments if you found any of this information helpful. In the next episode, we are going to dive into screen time's effects on our sleep. We will also love to hear your thoughts.
Har du oplevet udfordringer, som eventuelt skyldes for meget scrolling, gaming eller anden skærmtid? Hvad kunne du godt tænke dig, at vi spurgte eksperterne om? Fortæl os om det i kommentarfeltet, og kig med i de kommende episoder. Hvis du vil have flere hacks, så beskyt din hjerne.
See you in the next episode.